So I'd love to ask, what are some maybe technologies or trends that you're watching right now? You seem like you're someone who stays up to date in the world of commerce and all the things that are changing quickly. Is there anything that's piquing your interest right now or that you're following?
I'm looking really heavily at quizzes right now. Normally on e-commerce, you're trying to reduce the number of inputs required to do a thing. So on the checkout form, the fewer inputs you have, the more conversions you get. On a lead gen form, the fewer required fields you have, the more inputs you get. But the thing about quizzes is that across the board, people are finding that the longer quizzes do as well or better compared to shorter quizzes. What I love about the concept of quizzes is any kind of product that requires some consideration, or a product where a customer is likely to face quiz overload because they can't pick for one that fits them out of all the options. A quiz gives you a really targeted silo that lets the customer give you the inputs that they need and can also educate them along the way. So on a traditional website funnel like ours, you have like the homepage, you have the category page, product, cart, checkout, and then order complete. And the customer is really only interested in one piece of information on each of those pages because they think they know what they want. Whether your copy that's trying to sell to the customer on picking you is read or not is a total crapshoot because it's one piece of content among many on the page. Whereas with quizzes, you know that people are reading what messages you're putting in front of them. So if it's like for wireless, if we're trying to help someone find the right data plan or try to help them calculate their savings, in between questions, we can sprinkle in a sentence or two that educates them on the brand and how the service works. Whereas in the general flow of the website, it's really easy for someone to wind up on the cart without having read anything because it just clicked the buttons and gone through without reading anything. The quiz lets you educate someone. And at the end, they're more likely to buy because they have a very targeted recommendation on what to buy. And they feel confident because they spent so much time with the quiz. Of course, it's going to understand their needs better. And it asks them all the questions that they think are relevant for making this decision. And then the thing that really interests me is that quizzes don't have to open with something really directly related to selling the product, which could feel more like a chatbot. So we're looking at different ways to make, we haven't found one that I love yet, but we're looking at different ways to make like the opening question of the quiz a lot more engaging and surprising. We're getting people to think like, what is this? And then it starts with some questions that you're like, this doesn't seem related to wireless at all. But then after you started the answer, we're kind of hooked in. And then we get into the wireless and then it's kind of at the end.
That's fun. Okay. What's your favorite question that you've at least brainstormed? It didn't have to go live, but opening question.
Okay. So I can never remember the right wording for it, but it's something like, which Marvel superhero is your phone usage most like? So I could see how Thor might not use a cell phone at all. He's like just texting. And so like maybe if you're like in your 60s or 70s, you somehow notch more with Thor. But if you're on there all day, every day, and I don't know, maybe it's like you're Tony Stark and always connected. If you have a lot of connected devices in the house, that kind of thing. We haven't really put that into words while we're running through rigorous results or like testing it, but I think there's something there to find that's definitely exciting.
Yeah, it was fun. We put a quiz on our website to see, should your company partner with us on a podcast? And with the answers, we put little memes or things like GIFs that were moving. And that quiz converted so much better than the one that just had the answers, which from our perspective, we were like, okay, we have B2B buyers. They don't want to mess around with GIFs. And, that's like maybe too young for them. And it converted higher when we added the more like, animated answers.
Just on the results?
Yeah. I mean, the completion rates were way higher because people wanted to I guess they wanted to get through and see what GIFs we had throughout the whole quiz because they were on every slide. So we had one that didn't have any and then one that had them on every single slide. And that one converted way better to get someone to actually complete the quiz.
That's really interesting. Yeah. I think that makes sense. And I think there's something there that we haven't tapped into yet that might be interesting to use Ryan Reynolds with, where he could have his own content that's original in a quiz like that. And then wanting to know what's on the next screen from him, that's funny.
Yeah.
Could really draw people through it.
Yeah. You might get a lot of people who actually aren't even interested in switching phone services, or maybe they're already Mint Mobile customers and they're like, I still just want to see it.
Yeah, totally. And if you can make the result shareable, like which Ryan Reynolds movie character are you most like? Mm-hmm. And that's a little hybrid.
I like
it's that or it's a wireless recommendation.
We just created it right here. This is all we need, Kenny. Just you and I brainstorming. We will fix all the problems. Hey, thanks for watching. This segment was made possible by our friends at Salesforce Commerce Cloud. If you're looking for the #1 platform for all your commerce needs, go check out salesforce.com/commerce. And don't forget to subscribe below and tap that little bell icon so you can stay on top of all the amazing new segments and full episodes that we'll be putting out over the coming year with some of the best and most influential commerce leaders out there.